Hey guys, Leanne here from healthfulpursuit.com, and today we are chatting about fasting. 12 things you should do, shouldn't do, so that you can have success on your fast, so stay tuned. If you haven't already subscribed to the Healthful Pursuit YouTube channel, you should. There's a big button down below this video where you can subscribe. So I'm making today's video because the number one question that I get from people is, why can I drink a fatty coffee or a fatty bone broth or any sort of fatty drink or even have fat bombs and maintain in a fasted state? It just doesn't make sense. So we're going to be breaking it down into little pieces so you can see how you can incorporate fasting in many different ways and get the results that you want. I've been fasting now for 4 years, and a major game changer for me was realizing that I could use bone broth to extend my fast. And we're going to be talking about how that works in a second. If you're like, girl, I knew about this back in 2014, bear with me. If you're already making your own bone broth or buying your own bone broth and having success, that is awesome. But if you're not and you're fasting and you're kind of struggling, bone broth can be a really good way to extend your fast. If you don't like making bone broth, I hate making bone broth. My favorite store-bought bone broth is from a company called Kettle and Fire. I've chatted about them many times before. The reason I love them is because they're accessible, they're inexpensive, because I have a sweet discount to share with you in a second, and they're made with grass-fed, grass-finished bones, which is very hard to find. When I was putting together the notes for today's video, I reached out to Kettle and Fire to see if they would give you guys a sweet discount. They have. So if you go to kettleandfire.com/healthfulpursuit, you can save at least 20% on your next order of Kettle and Fire. And even beyond that, the more cartons you buy, the more discounts you get. I'll include the link down below. Pretty exciting stuff. So let's get to these fasting strategies. The first thing is that you need to decide why you're fasting. Is it for option number one, insulin regulation? So perhaps you want to lose weight, you are doing this for health and wellness purposes, you want to maintain healthy appetite and you're not hungry all the time, or perhaps you are doing it for inflammation reduction, or you're just doing it for convenience. You just don't want to have to eat all the time. Or option number two, you are wanting to fast for cleansing, cellular regeneration, cognitive benefits, or to reduce the signs of aging. So perhaps on Monday you want option 2, on Wednesday you want option 1, and then again on Thursday you want option 1, but on Saturday you want option 2. That's great, awesome. So knowing which option you want to go for is how you do your fast. So if you chose option 1, you are fasting to eliminate an insulin response in your body. There are some foods that do not cause an insulin response, like fat. There are other foods, even like broccoli, that will spike a little bit of an insulin response. So if you're fasting with option 1, your goal is insulin regulation. You don't want an insulin response from the foods you're eating. That's why we can have fatty drinks while we're fasting and maintain a fasted state, because our goal is insulin regulation. We are regulating our insulin by having that fat because our insulin isn't spiking up. Now, if you chose option 2, the only way that your body can cleanse in that state, called autophagy, is that you're only drinking water or like not eating anything. So if you're focused on cleansing and you're doing that for fasting, you shouldn't be having the fatty coffees that day when you're fasting. Autophagy allows your cells to really regenerate. They are turning over quicker. It's increasing your longevity and a bunch of other things. That's definitely where option 2 is important, that you do not eat. Simple as that. With option 1, here's some tips that you can have success on your fast if you choose option 1. The first recommendation is that you go 14 to 24 hours without solid foods. You can have those fatty drinks. When you get a little bit hungry or a little bit off and you're not feeling right or you want something, a really great approach is to have a fatty coffee. Now, there are some caveats to your fatty coffee if you want to maintain that insulin level and you don't want to spike insulin whatsoever. I would recommend no caffeine whatsoever, because if you have caffeine, your cortisol can spike, which can cause an insulin response in some people, so just be mindful of that. And also no sweetener. You can play around with stevia perhaps, but if you really want to be safe, I would say no sweetener in your fatty coffee. I'll include a link down below for some fatty coffee recommendations. Heated bone broth with salt and coconut oil is great, water with lemon juice is great, and any herbal teas. Again, note that I'm saying don't do caffeine with any of the teas or anything. These foods will not create an insulin response. You can go a longer time without eating solid food, but still maintain a little bit of nutrients. This can be really helpful for women ages 20 to 50 until you hit about perimenopause, where women in perimenopause can go a longer time without needing to eat even those fatty coffees. Whereas if you choose option 2, you're going to want to go 14 to 24 hours without having any food at all. If your goal is autophagy and that cleansing of cells and regeneration of your body, the best thing to do is to just drink water. And regardless of which option you choose, this is super important. Don't count your calories. You got that? Yeah, sure. It's really important that when we're fasting, we're not counting our calories when we are eating. Fasting will naturally lower your caloric intake just naturally because you're not eating as much. And when you do eat, you just can't fit that much volume in your body. So don't worry about calories, that will naturally decrease. But if you are reducing calories and counting calories and not eating enough plus fasting, it can be a hot mess, especially for women. And I talk about that so much in all of my digital programs and everything, that it's super important that you not do both. So there you have it. All of the things that you can do to help your fasting. I hope that really helped understand the different types of fasting and why you'd want to do it. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, you can do so down below. I've included a mini guide as well for this video, which you can click up here or down below to grab that. It's basically a summary of everything I just shared in the video in an easy to read PDF. And lastly, if you are confused about keto and you're not really sure what to do, I put together a bundle called the Keto Bundle. It includes both of my best-selling digital programs on keto that gives you 60 days of clear instruction on how to eat keto. I'll include a link up here and also down below so you can check that out. And I will see you guys next Wednesday. Bye!